Welcome back. The Senate set to huddle with committee chairs today on the technical corrections in the big, beautiful bill. House Republicans writing to Senate Majority Leader John Thune, urging the upper chamber to maintain the bill's fiscal framework and avoid any budget gimmicks. I spoke with House Republican Conference Chair Lisa McClain yesterday on this program. Watch. Do you have an expectation as far as when you'll get it back in the House after the Senate makes its changes?
What we're hearing right now is we'll get it back the last week in June, in time for us to get it passed by July 4th. Yeah, there are some family squabbles, but I think we've seen this movie before. So I'm optimistic that we're going to get this done by July 4th.
Joining me now is Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, a member of the Senate Finance Committee. Senator, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you again.
Can you tell us what these technical changes will be in the big, beautiful bill?
Well, we have quite a few, actually. We want to make sure when the House receives the bill back, hopefully by the last week in June, they recognize it. It is the House bill that they formatted, they sent to us. But just like 215 House members all put their fingerprints on it, we've got to have 51 plus senators put their fingerprints on it as well. So one of the most obvious examples is we want to have permanent for full expensing. The House had 5 years of full expensing. That is a very important tax feature long-term for every small business, every manufacturer to be able to do full expensing the year of the actual cost. So we want to make that permanent. The House made it 5 years. There's several other corrections that are like that we're trying to be able to work through.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because we've got lots of small business owners watching right now, and they have a big stake in what you all are doing right now. And the House measure, of course, raises the SALT cap to $40,000 from $10,000, but it also repeals the pass-through entity tax election for entities that are specified services, trades, or businesses. And, you know, those, of course, could include professional services like financial services, doctors, lawyers, accountants. What changes would you like to see there?
Yeah, we are doing some tweaks in that. I can't go into all the details on that particular one, but you're right. The small business side is the major piece of this. This will come out with a permanent tax rate for corporations, permanent tax rate for pass-throughs in small businesses, permanent tax rate for individuals. That means in the future, Congress makes the changes rather than the calendar making the changes. That is the biggest issue that we're facing. If we don't act on this right now, literally January the 1st of next year, we'll have a giant tax increase on every small business, every manufacturer, every individual. We can't have that again. We're trying to solve that.
So we're really talking about a different tax code, a new tax code. You also are taking a look at retaliatory tax measures against extraterritorial and discriminatory taxes like digital services tax, OECD pillar tax, diverted portfolio tax. Can you give us a sense of what's most important there?
Yeah, so the House created something they called 899. This is a pushback on what President Biden did with what was called Pillar 2 taxes. If you're not connected to those, you have no idea what they are. If you are connected to the International Tax Code, you know full well what they are. Janet Yellen and President Biden created a new international tax code and tried to put it in without going through Congress. We want to make it very clear, no, you don't. The United States Constitution says every revenue measure like that has to originate in the House of Representatives and has to be done through Congress. They cannot just create a new tax code that literally punish American businesses. So this is designed to be able to say, this is the American tax system. We're not going to allow a pushback like this on it. We're trying to be able to create a tax code that works for American companies and is designed for American companies.
Yeah, I wanted to dig a little deeper on that, sir, because we've got so many small business owners watching. I mean, there's also U.S. withholding taxes, effectively connected income, withholding U.S. real property disposition, U.S. branch profits. So I know it's technical, and I don't want to necessarily take too much time going into the weeds, but I did want to ask you about the pushback in the Senate in terms of the spending here. And, of course, you've got people, colleagues like Ron Johnson and Rand Paul and even Rick Scott in Florida saying, look, we got to cut more. Is that where you are? Where are you in terms of the cuts on spending and what a bottom line number might be?
I want to reduce as much spending as we can actually get 51 votes for in the Senate and 218 in the House. There is a point that we can't get enough votes for it. I'm one of those folks that says let's get as much as we possibly can, and then to be able to get it done and then go back and start working on the next one. There is a concern always that there's some folks that say, hey, we're very seriously in debt and deficit, so let's try to fix it all in one bill. I'm of a focus that you can't do everything, so you shouldn't do just nothing. Do as much as you possibly can and to be able to get it done. So, yes, I'm going to push this as hard as we can. to say, let's solve as much of our deficit as we can right now, and then let's keep moving.
What is the likelihood that the Senate nixes the increase in the SALT deduction?
Well, I would tell you the Senate is not really excited about the SALT deduction piece. It's $353 billion of additional costs on the federal taxpayers. Taxpayers in Oklahoma, for their federal tax, will literally pay a higher tax amount than taxpayers in New York or in California. We're not excited about that. We want to be able to say, if you live in a high tax state, the option for you is to move out of a high.
Right. Such an important. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you went frozen for a second, but please continue. You say the option is to move out of a high tax state.
Yeah, move out of a high tax state, not punish low tax states on it, like my state in Oklahoma. I understand that there are a few House members that they're very, very passionate about that. We're respectful of that. But it's $353 billion. We're trying to be able to find a way to solve that without punishing every other state.
Yeah, great point there. Now, the last time we spoke, Senator, you said to me that you're looking at the end of July to get this passed. Is that still what you're considering, or do you think this can actually be done by July 4th? Because you just heard Lisa McClain, she's not expecting this to get back until the end of June. What's a realistic date to get it on the president's desk?
We can get it done by the end of June. Obviously, all the pieces have got to fall together. That means we've got to finish all of our committee work this week.
Yeah.
And into week, actually put it on the floor the end of June, and then to be able to House pick it up then as soon as we finish it up, and they would pass it. Again, we're starting from the House product. The Senate's not starting something brand new. We're starting with that. President Trump has been very clear on his priorities: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. All those things are all worked into this as well. So this is President Trump's bill, the House bill, and the Senate bill all merged together. Try to get it done by the end of June.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you've got 3 legislative weeks left, so I know the heat is on. Let me switch gears, ask you about the destruction in Los Angeles. Once again, unfortunately, talking about anti-ICE riots in L.A. expected to stretch into a 6th day today. More American cities are seeing rioting and protesting. A federal judge rejected California Governor Gavin Newsom's emergency filing. He tried to block the president's defense of Los Angeles. The LAPD arrested dozens of rioters for refusing to follow Mayor Karen Bass's new curfew. Senator, what needs to be done here?
Yeah, what needs to be done is have basic law and order on it. We've got a Governor Newsom who is actually celebrating people protesting for illegal activity in his state and encouraging more people to be able to come to the streets and to be able to protest for something that is illegal in the United States. It's a remarkable shift. President Trump is just speaking out and saying, hey, we want law and order. If you want to be able to speak out on something, speak out. But you can't throw bricks at police officers and smash federal buildings and smash cars and set them on fire and block traffic. All of that's illegal, and what they're protesting is illegal activity. So Gavin Newsom has led California to be able to be a sanctuary city, sanctuary state. He has focused on trying to encourage more illegal immigration into the United States, and President Trump has been very, very clear. We're not going to have illegal immigration. We'll have legal immigration, but not illegal immigration. And we've got to have law and order everywhere. We've got to speak, but don't celebrate illegal activity.
And of course, you're a member of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security, and the Senate Homeland Security Committee is holding a hearing on U.S. border readiness right now, ahead of 2 major sporting events in America, the 2026 World Cup, the 2028 Olympic Games. Senator, you chaired the hearing. Tell us what came out of that, and should we be worried about threats to the homeland, including, you know, you've got 3 Chinese nationals bringing pathogens into the country?
Yeah, it's been frightening to be able to see some of these things. So we met a lot with the Biden administration when they were trying to prepare for the Olympics. They were very behind on schedule. This is the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles that President Trump had actually engaged in his first term to be able to get them to come. Now it's a matter of getting ready 3 years from now for the Olympics, 2 years from now for the FIFA World Cup, or for some of the finals just next year, the 250th birthday of the United States. So there's a lot of things that are happening that are very large-scale global events. We want to make sure that we are ready for that. Our airports are ready. Our travel is ready. Our visa process is ready. We'll have 15 million visitors from around the world just for the Olympics in 3 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do. We want to make sure we're ready.
So we're not ready yet.
We're not ready yet. We want to make sure that we are ready for that for both security purposes, to welcome all those travelers to come in, spend money in the United States.
Got it. Senator, it's great to see you this morning, sir. Thank you. James Lankford.
But